Rabotai, over 3,300 years ago, Am Yisrael were slaves in Egypt, suffering back-breaking labor, tremendous humiliation. But Baruch Hashem, we were all witness to the tremendous miracles of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. The great miracles Hashem did for us, the 10 plagues, Dam, Tzfardea, Kinim, and then ultimately the splitting of the sea. And Baruch Hashem, we received the Torah, the greatest gift in the world. Morai v'Rabotai, God promised us, Eretz Yisrael is yours. You will conquer it. You will live there in security. You have nothing to be worried about. It's a guarantee, not from a businessman, not from your neighbor, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. At that point, life was beautiful. We were all excited. Shtabach Shemo Lahad. We're about to get to the promised land. Then, we had 12 men, 12 leaders of Am Yisrael, heads of the tribes, of the Shvatim. They go out to spy out the land of Israel. They have a very simple mission. Hashem guaranteed it's all good. En malidog, I got your back, quote unquote. But these spies go out to Eretz Yisrael. They were there for 40 days. They were checking out the land for 40 days. And they come back on Tisha B'Av. And they let the nation know that we have no chance. 10 of the 12 spies, great leaders, they come back with an extremely negative report. The enemies are huge, they're stronger, it's not going to happen. Morai v'Rabotai, Am Yisrael heard this, and understandably so, we got very, very sad and depressed. We forgot about Hashem's promise. God guaranteed us, He promised us. We forgot about it. And we cried, and we cried, and we continued crying. We were not interested in entering Eretz Yisrael anymore. Not for us. Thanks, but no thanks. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Hem bachu b'chiyah shel chinam. They cried for no reason. They had tears for no reason. V'ani ikva lehem b'chiyah ledorot. I will give them a reason to cry for all generations. They cried for no reason at Tisha B'Av. The message of the spies got them all rattled up. Hashem says, for all generations you have reasons to cry. We all know, first Beit HaMikdash destroyed Tisha B'Av. Second Beit HaMikdash, Tisha B'Av. And many other national calamities that took place on this day. Morai v'Rabotai, what was the immediate punishment? What was the immediate punishment we got as a nation for this behavior of ours? What did Hashem do to us? Okay, we'll cry for many generations, but what happened to that generation? We know Hashem is midah keneged midah. Measure for measure. Everything in this world, midah keneged midah. Every punishment, Hashem has a calculated reason. Every reward, Hashem has a calculated reason. So what was the punishment for our behavior over here? Says the Torah, Yom Leshana, Yom Leshana. Every day, a year. Every day, a year. It repeats the word, Yom Leshana, Yom Leshana. Meaning what? The spies were in Israel for how many days? 40 days. For every day, we get 1 year of punishment. So how many years we're punished? 40 years. Morai v'Rabotai, 40 days they were spying out Eretz Yisrael. 40 years where we're going to be in the desert, wandering in the Midbar. Very simple question. Doesn't take a genius to figure this one out. Midah keneged midah. Measure for measure. How is it that for 40 days we get 40 years of punishment? Yeah, the number 40 is equal. But days for years, is that fair? Is that midah keneged midah? Morai v'rabotai, listen what the Chachamim tell us. Ladies and gentlemen, 40 days, 40 years, each day is 1 year. You know why? That is the power of crying. That is the power of a tear. When a person breaks a tear, 1 day equals 1 year. That's the power of someone that cries out, for good or for bad. You might say, hey, it's still not fair. 1 day is 1 year. 40 days in Israel, 40 years in the desert is a punishment. It's not a fair calculation. But let's analyze this point a little bit more. The fact is, every single one of us, we fall once in a while. We have our flaws in our character. We have avirot that we unfortunately fall for. It happens to the best of us. Meirov v'rabotai, comes along Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is 1 day, we're fasting all day long. And we're doing teshuvah, and we're crying to Hashem. What does Hashem say? That 1 day can wipe off a whole year. Comes along the Yetzer Hara and says, hey, God, I worked so hard. You know what it took me to bring that guy down? How many tachbulot, how many different ideas I had to come with just to get him to go there, to see this, to do that. And in 1 day, he's wiping off a year's work of mine. Says the Kadosh Baruch Hu, when I had this system with the Jews in the desert, where I gave them a year for each day, so 40 days of spying led to 40 years in the desert. I did not hear you complaining about this 1 day for 1 year system. You were quiet back then. Sit back and be quiet today as well. Morai v'rabotai. Unbelievable concept. But what do we see from here? What do we see from here? A day for a year because of tears. That's what the Torah says by the story of the spies. Yom Mishanai, Yom Mishanai. Repeats it twice. Once to tell us a day for a year in the desert, and a day for a year Yom Kippur versus the rest of the year. Midah keneged midah. So at the time it didn't look so good, but I think we could all agree. Baruch Hashem, we have Yom Kippur. Baruch Hashem. Power of the tears. When we talk about the most powerful weapon we have, tefillah, tzedakah, Torah, chesed, but Morai v'rabotai, tears could break through any walls, could open up all the gates. If 2 Batei Mikdash, first and second, were destroyed because of misplaced tears, could you imagine what tears could do to rebuild the Beit HaMikdash? Could you imagine if we have a little tzar, what it could do? I want to share with you a beautiful story from the Zohar HaKadosh. Everyone over here heard of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. His son Rabbi Elazar heard that Rabbi Yossi passed away. Rabbi Yossi passed away. So he went to his colleagues and he says, Chavrai Kadisha, Bo v'nigmol chesed im harimon malei ochel. Let's do some kindness with this pomegranate full of juice. Meaning, this rabbi full of mitzvot. Rabbi Yossi niftar, he passed away. Yesh la'asod lo ta'ara, let's go purify his body. Tachichin, put the burial shrouds, and likvor oto and bury him. So the colleague said, wow, Rabbi Yossi passed away, let's go to his house and take care of the whole procedure. Look what happens. These Tanaim HaKadoshim, these great sages, go walking towards Rabbi Yossi's house. They see standing by the front door a little girl crying. And the rabbis find out it's Rabbi Yossi's daughter. They say, can we come in? We want to help out. She says, you can't walk in. You can't walk in. They're like, we want to help out, this and that. They're trying to comfort her. She's like, no, my brother doesn't let anyone come in. Now you might think we're talking about a 40-year-old brother. They look in through the window, they see a 5-year-old boy. A little child that is on top of his father's body. On top of his father's dead body. He's on top of his father and he's crying. Crying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says, Ribono shel olam, Ima lakachta lifnei kama shanim. You took away my mother a few years ago. My mother died a few years ago. Ech hisharta oti bili abba. How are you taking away my father? How are you leaving me and my sister without a father and a mother? And the boy's crying and crying and crying. And the sages are all there, the rabbis are watching this, as the girl is not letting them into the house. At that moment, Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, tells his colleagues, Eineni yodea ma yeh po. I don't know what's going to happen next. Aval vadai sheyeh kan otot umoftim. There's definitely going to be a miracle. En davar sheyachol la'amod lifnei dma'ot ha'elu. Nothing can hold back these kind of tears. And the sages are staying outside, while the boy's inside with the father on the ground, crying and crying and crying. And guess what happens? Says the Zohar Kadosh, the next thing that we see is Tchiyat HaMetim. Rabbi Yossi gets back up, he gives his son a big hug. Life as usual. Morai v'Rabutai, the power of tears. The koach of Dma'ot. Sha'arei Dma'ot lo nin'alu. The gates of tears do not get shut. Every gate is closed, but tears could break through. The malachim are scared of tears. They move away. Tears are very powerful. You know, there's certain tzaddikim that they wouldn't pray in a minyan when there's no woman section. Because the women know how to get their tears out. They know how to get emotional. The guys are busy with their things. They wouldn't be praying without a woman section. Simcha, I want a woman section in my minyan upstairs. They wouldn't be praying without a woman section. Morai v'Rabutai, you ever go to Brit Milah? When the baby is crying, everyone takes out their little... Why? Because the baby's crying because of a mitzvah. When you're reading, you're praying for a shidduch, praying for children, for a job, doing teshuvah. That baby's tears, that cry, takes your tefillot up the shamayim. Just like a shofar. When you hear the shofar, you do the shofar takes your tears. The baby's cries take your tears as well. Morai v'Rabutai, koach, the power of a tear, the power of crying. If tears brought down the Beit HaMikdash, it can definitely bring it back. But let's be realistic. Who over here with the raise of hands actually cried today over the Beit HaMikdash? Rabbi Meir, you cry almost every day though, Rabbi Meir. Every day with you is Yom Kippur, Baruch Hashem. Alright, we have a few other people, Baruch Hashem. What? Morai v'Rabutai. How many of us actually had a tear? Said it, we're fasting, it's a little difficult. Yalla, Rome is done. You know, Bezrat Hashem. How many of us broke a tear? How many? Is it bothering us? It's very difficult. It's something that happened so many years ago. So I'm not going to tell you guys, everyone stop for a minute and start crying. But I will tell you something else. We have to stop wasting our tears on nothing. If you can't give a tear for the Beit HaMikdash, work at it. But how many grown men, they're at a sporting event, the Super Bowl. Their team wins after 67 years and not winning the Super Bowl. At the end of the night, these grown, powerful guys are breaking a tear because their favorite player scored a touchdown. Or how many ladies are watching these different dramatic shows on TV and they're breaking down in tears over shtuyot. You're breaking into tears because of nonsense. And you can't break into tears because of Churban Beit HaMikdash. So if you can't cry for that, so don't cry for that either. Don't make that your avodah zarah. How many men are verbally abusive to their wives, causing them to have tears? Rabbi, she's driving me crazy. So what? The Torah allows you to verbally abuse someone? Or chas v'shalom something else, God forbid? Today it happens the other way around as well. There's guys that are crying because of their wives. It happens as well. Men also have feelings. You should know that. Morai v'rabotai, you know when your wife is crying, when she's crying and she's telling Hashem, what kind of husband do I have? I don't want him to come back home. You know how many tragedies could happen because of this? Or people crying about your children. My child is so this and so that. You be careful what you wish for, Morai v'rabotai. Don't waste your tears on such things. Use your tears to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bring good, to help them change, to help them improve. But not to say, Chava, I wish he doesn't come home. Your tears are very powerful. How much parnasah could be destroyed because of it? How much briut, health could be destroyed because of it? We got to be extra careful with our tears. Don't misplace your tears, chas v'shalom. With this being said, I want to just share with you a quick story. We're very behind schedule, so I'll share a quick story and call it a night. There was a rabbi from here in New York. He took one of his students, a very wealthy individual. He took him to Eretz Israel. He took him on a tour to Eretz Israel. Anyone been to the Kotel before? It's the most beautiful experience. But when you go in the daytime, it doesn't have that same effect. You have all these tourists there, you have all this noise and people and women and guys and this and that. So he tells this guy, I'll take you at midnight. You go to the Western Wall at midnight, Chatzot Laila, 12 o'clock, 1 in the morning. Wow. You feel the Kiddushah, you feel the holiness. It's so beautiful and quiet. You have a few tzaddikim there praying, and unbelievable experience. So the rabbi takes his man there. They go to the Kotel, they start reading Tehillim, they're praying, and they notice an older fellow, an older Yerushalmi fellow standing by the wall crying. So the rabbi turns to the businessman. He tells him, Habibi, you ready to answer his prayers? Whatever he needs, you'll do it. Rabbi, I have my checkbook with me. I'll help answer his prayers. They walk over to the guy. They tap him in the shoulders. Adoni, can we help you out? The guy turns around. He says, no, toda rabba. And he goes back to his prayers. So the rabbi and the businessman step back, and they move on with their Tehillim. But they realize this guy just keeps crying and crying. So they walk back to him. They tap him on the shoulders. Adoni, we want to help you. What's going on? He says, I told you, I don't need help. Why are you disturbing me? Oh, they move away. A few minutes later, they just couldn't hold themselves back. The rabbi's like, you know what? Why don't you take out your checkbook and show him you want to help him out? So they walk back over to the guy. Sir, can we help you? What's going on? And the man says, I don't understand. I told you, I don't need your help. They say, no, but you don't get it. We really want to help you out. Not just like take the name for Tehillim. We want to help you. What's happening? He said, I don't need your help. So they said to him, can you at least tell us why you're crying? You're standing by the wall, by the kotel for the past half hour, non-stop crying. Maybe we could pray together with you for this individual. Look what this man answers. This old Yerushalmi fellow. He says, I want you to know, I just came back from marrying off my 10th and final child. I came here tonight to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu that I had the zechut, I had the merit to marry off all my children. That's why I'm here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we think we have to cry when something goes wrong. We should go to HaKadosh Baruch Hu also when things are going right. When you have the zechut to marry off your child, or you have a new job, or you had Baruch Hashem success in whatever it may be, don't forget who gave it to you. Hakarat hatov, appreciate it. My rabbi in yeshiva used to always say, don't complain to Hashem about what you don't have. Be grateful Hashem doesn't give you what you really deserve. A lot of us get more than what we deserve. A lot more than what we deserve. We know how to complain. We're number one at complaining. I think it's time, Meirov, to learn how to say thank you. So just to wrap it up, I had a few more things to say, but we have a lot of Chashuv Rabbanim speaking after me. To wrap it up, they cried Bechiyah Shel Chinam. They cried for no reason. We lost both Bet HaMikdash. We had many tragedies because of it. Let's start using our tears for good things. Let's use our mouth to compliment, to encourage, and not to attack, not to criticize vehemently and aggressively. And Bezrat Hashem, Morai v'Rabotai, as beautiful as this event is, you know, Chazak has been joining Beit Gavriel for this for many years. And Baruch Hashem, we have live streaming from our good friends from Torah Anytime. From day one, they're doing this for us. And then we have Hidabroot join in as well. I wish we could stop this event. As beautiful as it is, as inspiring as it is, Morai v'Rabotai, we don't need it. We don't want it. And the way to get us closer and closer is by having Bechi, crying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the proper fashion and for the proper things. Yehi Ratzon, Hashem should wipe off all our tears of sorrow, and He should only give us tears of joy, Bezrat Hashem, every single one of us in an individual state, and also all of us, Klal Yisrael as a whole, we should hear about the Biyad Gol Tzedek, B'mera b'yameinu, Amen v'Amen.